Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss another phylum which is Ctenophora, as it has been derived from the Greek word kestos, means comb, and phoros means bearing. So means the animals which bear comb-like structures, and these comb-like structures or these comb-like plates, they help them for locomotion purposes. So the ctenophores, they are commonly also called as sea walnuts or comb jellies. If we go for their habitats, they are exclusively marine animals found only within the marine water. The third point, they show radial symmetry, means their body can be divided into two equal halves through number of planes. Do we have discussed in the previous groups also? So they are radially symmetrical animals. Their origin from the germ layers, if we may consider, they are diploblastic animals, means they are having two germ layers, ectoderm and endoderm. The next point, they show tissue level of organization, means their body, they are multicellular, as do we have discussed, but still only up to the level of tissue their body is made up of. So they show tissue level of organization. The sixth point, animal possesses 8 comb-like plates which helps them for locomotion purposes. Next, seventh point, digestion, which may be extracellular or intracellular. So we know the meaning of extracellular, when something is taking place outside the cell. So we call that phenomena as extracellular. So the extracellular digestion, when the digestion takes place outside the cell, it is called as extracellular digestion. Whereas when the digestion takes place within the cell, then it is called as intracellular digestion. There is specific property, presence of bioluminescence organs, which helps to emit the lights within their surroundings. So that is a specific property shown by these group of animals. The next, ninth feature, they are hermaphrodites, means they are bisexual, means in both the sexes they are present in one individual, or we also call them as monoecious. The 10th point, reproduction is only through sexual means. So they reproduces only through the sexual means. And as for the concern for fertilization, fertilization takes place outside the body, which is external fertilization. And whereas the development, if we consider, it also shows indirect development, means the young ones would be looking far different from the adult ones. So we call that such type of developmental process as indirect development by involving the larval stage, which is called as cetipid larva. For example, Plerobrachia. This is the Plerobrachia. Next, another example is Ctenoplana. So this is the example diagram of Ctenoplana. One more example we may consider, which is Coeloplana. So we may look the diagram which is depicting the Coeloplana, which are ctenophorans. Now we'll discuss another next phylum, which is Platyhelminths. As from the root word we may get the meaning, the characteristic feature. Platy means flat and helminths means worm. So means they are flat worms, or we may consider them as they are dorso-ventrally flattened body. So we can consider just like a page of any book or copy which also shows that it is dorso-ventrally flattened, means someone has compressed from the dorsal side and ventral side. So just these members of the platyhelminths, they are also dorso-ventrally flattened body. Just we can consider the leaves of the plant, they are also showing the same property, they are showing the dorso-ventrally flattened body. If we may go for the next feature, they show the organ level of organization, but we have to be remind that we have to be careful that the organs, we can say they are not the true organs, as in the case, because they are acoelomate, We have discussed acoelomate means there is no any cavity present in between the body wall and the gut wall, or we can say the cavity is not present in between the body wall and the alimentary canal. So due to which that reason we may say the organs, whatever that they are present, they are not, we can consider them as true organs, but they are having much more complex body design than to the ctenophores. Now from this group we have to remember that all are triploblastic animals. Till so far we have discussed about the poriferans, coelentrates and ctenophores. They were the diploblastic animals. From the group platyhelminths, the triploblastic condition arises, and from this onwards all the other groups, whatever we will discuss, may it may be aschelminths, annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, like that. So all the members will be triploblastic animals, means the body has developed from three germinal layers: outer ectoderm, inner endoderm and the middle layer, which is the mesoderm layer. If you go for their symmetry, they are bilaterally symmetrical animals, means their body can be divided into two equal halves only and only through one plane. So means they must be showing somehow anterior and posterior ends, means separate anterior and posterior ends we may observe in the members of the platyhelminths. Just we have discussed, they are acoelomate animals, means they are not having any true body cavity, or we can say absence of body cavity in between the body wall and the alimentary canal. And next, the important characteristic feature exhibited by the platyhelminths, most of the members, they are endoparasites, means they are parasitic life forms, but they are present inside within their host, certain hosts. So they are endoparasites, and due to which presence of hooks and suckers in the parasitic forms, it is a adaptive feature which helps them to survive in those conditions. If you go for their the regulation of the minerals and water and like that, so we may consider the excretion process and the osmoregulation process. It is managed by a special type of cells which are called as phloem cells. So we may observe in the diagram within the member fasciola hepatica, which is the liver fluke, the presence of protonephridial system, which is showing the presence of phloem cells, which helps in the process of osmoregulation and excretion. The members of the platyhelminths, they are also hermaphrodites, means they are bisexual, or we may also call it them as monoecious. The fertilization is concerned, it is internal fertilization with the indirect development, means the development process will involve the larval stage. We can say in simpler words, there would be younger stage which would be far different from the adult stage, so which is called as indirect development. For example, Taenia solium, which is also called as flatworms or tapeworm. So this is the diagram depicting Taenia genus. It is having separate species also. This one is the Taenia saginata. So this is the tapeworm, looking like a tape. It is called as tapeworm. The next another member is Fasciola hepatica, which is commonly called as liver fluke. So this is the diagram of fasciola, which is commonly called as liver fluke. The next another member is a planaria. So the diagram is depicting the planarian worm. It is planaria. If we may consider more members, cystosoma. So the diagram is depicting the cystosoma. Now we'll discuss another phylum, which is aschelminths, which are also commonly called as roundworms. Means if we cut their sections of the body, it appears to be round in shape. So they are commonly called as roundworms. Their habitats are concerned, they may be either free living or aquatic or terrestrial or parasitic forms. Now this is the most important point, we have to memorize it. This is the only group which shows the pseudocoelomate condition, means the body cavity is present but it is called as false body cavity because it is scattered in the form of pouches and they are not lined by the mesoderm, as we have discussed. So this is the only member within the animal kingdom which shows the pseudocoelomate condition. As do we have discussed, in the case of coelomate condition, there was a body cavity present in between the body wall and the gut wall. This is the alimentary canal and it is lined by the mesoderm lining. So it is true body cavity. Whereas in this case, we may observe the body cavity is present but it is scattered in the form of pouches. These pouches, they are scattered and there is no any such type of mesoderm lining these pouches. So they are called as false body cavity or also called as pseudocoelomate condition. Whereas in the case of acoelomate, do we have discussed, there is no any such cavity present in between the body wall and the gut wall. Means it is filled with the cells, so they are called as acoelomates. So till so far we have discussed about the poriferans, coelentrates, ctenophores and platyhelminths. They all are acoelomate animals. Whereas from the group Aschelminths is concerned, they are pseudocoelomate animals. And we have discussed from the platyhelminths that all animals afterwards they are triploblastic in nature. So this group is also showing triploblastic in origin in nature, and they are bilaterally symmetrical, means the animal can be divided into two equal halves only and only through one plane, and they must maybe having separate anterior ends and separate posterior ends. If we go for their alimentary canal, it is complete in nature, having separate opening for the ingestion and egestion of the food, means separate for mouth and anus and with a well developed pharynx. If we go for the excretory tube or excretory function, the excretory tube present helps to remove the body waste present within the members. And regarding their, we can say they are dioecious in sex, means they are unisexual in nature. They may be either male or female. The fertilization is internal, means takes place within the body, inside the body of the female, and the development may be direct or in some cases it may be indirect. So do we have discussed? Direct means there would be no any larval stage involved in the process of development, or if there is involvement of the larval stage, then such development is called as indirect development. For example, the common members are the Ascaris, commonly called as roundworm. So this is the diagram of Ascaris, which is a roundworm. Next member is Wuchereria. So this is the diagram showing Wuchereria bancrofti, which is also commonly called as filarial worm, which causes the disease elephantiasis or filariasis. The next member is Ancylostoma. This is Ancylostoma duodenale, which is also called as hookworm. The next member is Entrobius. The diagram is depicting the Entrobius vermicularis, which is also called as pinworm. One more member, which is Rhabditis. The diagram is depicting the Rhabditis. One more member we may consider, which is Trichuris. This is the Trichuris trichura, which is also called as whipworm. So till so far we have discussed about the ctenophores, platyhelminths and Aschelminths. Thank you. Have a nice day.